Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and I'm engaging smug mode. And why? Because I've been saying for quite some time that £1 billion black hole is actually a lot bigger. And, finally, the SNP have admitted it. Although they are lying a little bit because they're saying it's actually only £500 million bigger than what was previously thought. We know it's a lot bigger than that, but they're only going to admit to £500 million because anything more would look terrible. They're basically forced to admit it's bigger than it is so that they can justify increasing the taxes, but they're still not going to tell you how big it actually is. But I'm going to suggest it's nearer 2 billion, not 1.5. But I was at least right in saying there was no way it was 1 billion. It couldn't possibly be after the Brains Trust stood at his conference and went, council tax freeze. 300 million for the NHS. All the other magic pixie dust stuff that I'm going to announce, even though we don't know how we're going to pay for it. And I haven't told anyone about it because I've literally just invented it on the spot because my speech was rubbish. That's what he's done. But the cost is there. And so now they're screwed. Or at least you are, because they are raising taxes. Let's have a look and see how bad it is. And boy, it's bad. Here goes. So, SNP budget black hole. £500 million bigger than expected. And that's just what they're admitting to. As the Grand Mufti is handed a tax warning by businesses. Yeah, one of the problems they are, and I keep saying this, I've been proved right on it being big, right? I'm bigger than the billion. So I'm not wrong on the other things. The only way they can deal with this is to cut spending or raise taxes or both. They're the three options. They can't cut spending anywhere. They literally cannot afford to cut spending anywhere else, except, of course, on independence. There, they could save hundreds of millions of pounds. But don't hold your breath. That's the one area where actually budgets are, in real terms, increasing. Shoney Robertson got her priorities right every time. So if you're not able to cut anything else, then there is only but one option, and that is taxes go up. And what happens when taxes go up? People leave. It's as simple as that. It is a function. This is seen time and time again. And who leaves? Predominantly, the better off, the higher earners, because they have the transferable skills. And so it's a quicker way of destroying an economy is to increase taxes massively. But it's all they've got. They daren't cut spending on independence. I mean, you got to think, all those foreign embassies. You got Jamie Hebburn. I mean, himself is on about 120,000 with his expenses, but you got his whole department, 20 odd people. You've got a department running there. They've got all those glossy brochures. What's all that going to come to? 20 million a year, something like that, all in. Cost of heating, the cost of renting the building, the lot. 20 million a year you could save on that. Plus the foreign embassies, another 10 million a year. They go 30 million, bang. Doesn't sound much in the grand scheme of 500 million, but I tell you what, it's a start. And also, if you cut the 8 million a month spent on spin doctors, that'll help. Oh, all of a sudden, I've got over 100 million saved. Genius, isn't it? Doesn't take much. Anyway, the budget black hole facing Scotland next week is even bigger than first estimated. With the turd set to tell hard-working Scots to help plug the gap. Why should the Scots plug the gap that you have made? Why should they be there and have forced to impoverish themselves, struggle to put food on the table for their children, just because the SNP have screwed the pooch on the economy and wanked millions away on an unachievable dream of independence? That's okay. Your children will go hungry, but it'll be well worth the fight. That figure of £1 billion is off by £500 million, according to reports, with the actual deficit around £1.5 billion. Guarantee it's nearer 2. The Times reports that the Scottish Fiscal Commission was informed of the forecast last week, and it seems inevitable that a new tax band for higher earners will be introduced to raise some money as the SNP desperately tries to cling on to support. Meanwhile, the people that this tax band affects, the £75,000 to £125,000 a year earners, will just go, do you know what? I'm out of here, and go south and save themselves a bloody fortune. It comes despite businesses warning against a new income tax, saying it will damage the job market. Finance Secretary and moron and IQ of 86, Shona Robertson, will set out the administration's spending plan on Tuesday. And then we can all have a laugh. Next Tuesday, you'll be here, I'll be here, we'll be watching this. And I guarantee it's going to be truly horrific. I'm going to have to put an 18 certificate on that video because it will scare the pants off you. The Cabinet has held tense meetings. Tense meetings is their way of saying shouting matches. To try and balance the books. A job made harder by the Chief Mufti, Grand Mufti, I keep calling it the Chief Mufti, the Grand Mufti's surprise and uncosted announcement that he would freeze council tax. Something he did desperation when he realised how absolutely shitty boring his closing speech to conference was. So he had that bing light bulb moment and totally destroyed everything. This is going to cost close to £1 billion alone. The man is a moron. We know that. And he's not even the stupidest one in the in the cabinet. They give that job to Shona Robertson and say, "Hey, run finance." Okay, I can count to potato. Honestly, the woman is a menace. Anyway, as well as the council tax freeze, the SNP has pledged huge pay rises to public service workers in a bid to stave off strike action. Yeah, whether they wanted them or not, he just caved. He folded faster than Superman on Laundry Day simply because, oh, look at us, we haven't had a strike up in Scotland. Meanwhile, just handing out public cash to everyone. Man's a moron, isn't he? We reported on Wednesday that he is expected to bring in a 45% levy on earnings between 75 and 125k. The rate was proposed by the Scottish trade unions, but claims by the group that it would raise 92 million have been questioned by the Fraser Allender Institute, which predicts the actual figure raised will be less than 39 million, almost a third. And the reason is tax avoidance. When people are, should we say, encouraged encouraged into tax avoidance schemes, they take it. One of the classic ones, of course, is rather than taking a salary, you cut your salary and you just take it as a dividend. But that's what you do. And it's perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. Anyway, it could make workers, including head teachers, consultants and senior police officers, over the £3,000 worse off. I worked out yesterday, I think it came up to nearly £4,000 a year if you're at the top end. If you're earning 125,000, you're nearly 4,000 a year worse off. Now, of course, you're saying, oh, well, if you're earning that kind of money, you won't miss 4,000. But the principle's there. It's your money. Why should they take even more to pay for their cock-ups? Anyway, the Cabinet is split on the move, with many fearing what the impact could be at the ballot box for the Nationalists at the next general election. Well, we all know they're screwing. They are done, aren't they? They're done. 9 of Scotland's business networks have warned against the new tax burdens in a blow to McJobby's boast that he would improve relations with business. And then the first thing he does is destroy relations with business. I tell you, it's like the brains trust around that table, isn't it? You can always feel the potential of intelligence. Or is it a vacuum of stupidity? It's something. There's something there, isn't there? It really is absolutely disastrous for them. Anyway, the Scottish Tourism Alliance, the Institute of Directors Scotland and Salmon Scotland have been sent to Miss Robertson urging her to avoid measures in the budget that may make Scotland less competitive, particularly in relation to any decisions on income tax rates and thresholds. Another thing, of course, is chances are next year, because they did give a moratorium on thresholds and cutting rates and things to help pay for the COVID monies. But that comes to an end next year in England. And so thresholds may be cut next year and rates may be dropped next year. And if they did that early on before announcing an election to try and sort of bribe people, which is possible, the difference between earnings in Scotland and England would be immense. And that would also encourage people, particularly professionals, to come south of the border. Anyone living in the borders, working in the borders, it's no issue to them, is it? Just come down and you have to drive down a few miles, boom, save yourself, who knows, 10,000 a year in tax, you and your wife. Could be. Anyway, it said, we're concerned that further divergence with the rest of the UK will reduce the spending power of Scottish consumers, damage business confidence, remove money from the real economy, disincentivise investment in Scotland, and inhibit our ability to create jobs and attract and retain talent and economy and societal needs. That's right, because the people who got the power, got the limit, got the skills, got the willpower to move south will. And then you're not just not getting the uplift in tax that you think you're getting, you're losing all the other tax you were previously getting. But try telling them that. You can't. Well, you can tell them, but it won't go in. Thick. Coming up. You know, as time goes on, I actually think that that little cabal at the top of the SNP are actually getting more and more stupid. I think their little brain cells must be evaporating at the dizzy heights of political power. There they've made it all the way to the Chief Council. And it's just too much for them to bear. And so every day, more and more idiocy. More stupid. You know, the intelligence evaporating. Pop, 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 pop. It's like Rice Krispies, isn't it? Pop, 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 pop. There's no other explanation. They really are as stupid as that. They won't actually do what they need to do. They just do what they think they need to do. Because they are morons. And the damage they're causing, and the people are dying. Futures are being removed from children. Society's collapsing. Law and order's disappearing. Infrastructure is just rotting in the fields. Everything. It's all going. Because you've got these morons who don't know what they're doing, don't know how to balance books, don't know about the real cost of things, and literally haven't got a clue. And it's about time they went. There needs to be a bloody revolution. And when I say bloody, I don't mean it as in bloody hell. I mean bloody. I mean blood. It's the only way. Then whoever comes next knows not to do it again. A warning. Who was it? Voltaire. The English occasionally hang an admiral as a warning to the others. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I do have a lot more coming out today, so do pay attention, because some of these stories are like, what? Some of them are unbelievable. Some will get you angry. It's just a general mix again. It's every day, isn't it? It's just a river, endless river. Anyway, do please hit the subscribe button. Massively helps the channel. Do please hit the like. Massively helps the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will talk to you later. Bye.